Now to major developments late today in the Kobe Bryant helicopter crash investigation. The preliminary report from the NTSB just in tonight. And what we
On January 26, 2020, a stunning incident shocked the world. The news was devastating. Kobe Bryant's helicopter had met with a tragic accident. It's the story of a man who was not just a basketball legend, but a father, a coach, and a mentor. But what makes this story even more heart-wrenching is the fact that the incident happened due to a pilot error. Elli-Zobayan, the pilot, was carrying Kobe Bryant, his daughter, and a total of 9 people. The small error in his assessment and bad weather led to a tragic incident no one can forget. It was a day that began like any other cold, gray Sunday morning in the winter of 2020, but no one knew it would end with a tragedy that would have an indelible mark on history. But could there have been a chance to save the iconic Kobe Bryant? Stay tuned as we reveal the startling truths. Kobe Bryant, his daughter, and 7 others decided to take a helicopter flight from Atlantic Aviation Terminal at John Wayne International Airport in Orange County, California, to Camarillo, a coastal airport 80 miles to the northwest. The pilot, Elli-Zobayan, was entrusted with the responsibility of safely transporting Kobe, his daughter, and 6 other fellows. For Zobayan, this flight was more than just another day on the job. It was a chance to elevate his profile and that of his company, OC Helicopters. OC Helicopters, a small company with just 6 helicopters, primarily focused on providing transportation to tourist destinations. However, charter flights for high net worth individuals like Kobe were a lucrative venture. The stakes were high as Kobe, his daughter Gianna, and their companions from the Mamba Sports Academy boarded the Sikorsky S-76B, a helicopter known for its safety. From the very beginning, things took a troubling turn. Zobayan was well aware of the challenging weather conditions before takeoff. The previous night, Patty Taylor from OC Helicopters, the broker that arranged Bryant's flight and ground transportation, reviewed the plan. They had a group where they used to text each other to give flight updates. Patty Taylor texted, "Weather look okay tomorrow? Just checked and not the best day tomorrow, but not as bad as today," Zobayan responded. He suggested another route that would take them safely inland and east of downtown LA. However, this was far from a smooth journey. Before takeoff, it was necessary to conduct a flight risk analysis test. But the pressure on the pilot to perform exceptionally well caused him to skip this vital safety check to take the flight off on time. Kobe's wife said Kobe trusted the pilot and knew he would not take off if the risks were high. Believing in fate, they decided to take off. As the helicopter ascended into the cloudy skies, the only view was that of endless clouds. Zobayan had to navigate the airspace of Los Angeles, and this task was becoming increasingly challenging. Complications arose when Zobayan requested permission to enter Burbank airspace, but was denied due to poor visibility and incoming air traffic. This forced the helicopter to circle, further delaying their journey. However, Zobayan remained determined to ensure the safe arrival of his passengers. As the helicopter approached the Calabasas Pass, the clouds grew thicker, and Zobayan seemed unaware of the danger. The control tower became increasingly concerned and began offering instructions. They suggested that the pilot go high to gain visibility, but Zobayan remained resolute in his decision to maintain a lower altitude. This situation was rapidly deteriorating, but Zobayan managed to climb 1,000 feet, aiming for 4,000 feet, where he'd hoped to find clearer skies. However, communication suddenly ceased. At 9:44 a.m., Zobayan told the air traffic controller he was west of Van Nuys and planned to climb above the layer of clouds. We climbing to 4,000, he said a minute later. "And then, what are you going to do when you get to altitude?" the controller asked. There was no response. The controller asked several more times. No response. The last known contact with the helicopter occurred at 9:45 a.m. This left many questioning why the pilot did not climb higher and why he persisted at 1,000 feet. To tell the other side of the story, Anne Marie, a dedicated researcher, steps forward. Her mission centers around unraveling the effects of disorientation in pilots. After the incident, she explained why the pilot didn't climb higher. According to Anne Marie, a pilot navigating the vast sky thousands of feet above ground must rely either on the instructions provided or their instincts. Initially, as the pilot goes high and comes lower in the skies, their mind signals a sense of imbalance, even if the control tower does not explicitly communicate a problem. However, with time, The mind tricks the pilot into feeling stable once more, even in the face of danger. When the pilot lost contact with the control center, he had to rely entirely on his instincts. Gauging the aircraft's altitude is completely done by what the pilot is feeling when he loses contact with the control tower. When all instruments, including altitude indicators, became useless, our Zobayan had to trust his instincts, which tragically became fatal. At this point, Zobayan believed he was flying at a higher altitude than he was, dangerously close to the mountains. As the helicopter continued forward, he realized how close to the mountains he had come. Meanwhile, two mountain bikers in the vicinity observed a helicopter flying at an alarmingly low altitude. It disappeared into the clouds, and while Zobayan was attempting to get to a higher altitude, the helicopter was in fact descending. Tragically, it crashed into a hillside before the pilot could do anything. The helicopter broke apart, and a fire started. Back at OC Helicopters, the team members grew increasingly anxious. They knew something had gone wrong and initiated emergency response efforts. Sadly, at 12:05 p.m., they conveyed the heart-wrenching news. Kobe Bryant, his daughter, and 7 others had died in the helicopter crash. 3 of the bodies were recovered from the helicopter wreckage on Sunday afternoon, and the remaining victims were located and removed from the crash site on Monday. The entire world was left in stunned disbelief, struggling to come to terms with the loss of a basketball legend and the tragic events that unfolded in the skies over Calabasas. Amid the chaos and misinformation spread on social media, one fact remained crystal clear. The world had lost an icon, and a community had lost a mentor, a father, and a cherished friend. Almost 6 months after the accident, the National Transportation Safety Board released the documents. The documents contained shocking information where Zobayan made a radio call. He reported that he was ascending while it was spiraling to the ground. The aftermath of this tragedy extended far beyond the immediate shock. It prompted a global outpouring of grief and led to a thorough examination of helicopter safety protocols and pilot training. Questions were asked about why the pilot made the choices he did and whether there were lessons to be learned to prevent such a tragedy from happening again. As the investigation unfolded, it became clear that multiple factors played their role on that day. Weather conditions were challenging, and the pressure to complete the flight may have affected the pilot's judgment. The decision to proceed with the flight, despite the unfavorable weather, was critical. After the accident, the importance of thorough pre-flight assessments and risk analysis was a necessary step. The flight risk analysis test, which was skipped in this instance, was designed to evaluate the safety of a flight based on various factors, including weather conditions. Skipping this important step pointed toward the irresponsibility of the company. The tragic loss of Kobe Bryant, his daughter, and 7 others also served as a reminder of the risks associated with helicopter travel, especially in adverse weather conditions. While helicopters are a vital mode of transportation in many situations, this incident highlighted the need for rigorous safety measures to mitigate those risks. In the months that followed, there were calls for improving training for pilots, particularly in scenarios involving low visibility and challenging weather conditions. The aviation industry faced renewed rules to ensure that pilots were adequately prepared to make critical decisions in the face of adverse circumstances. The impact of this tragedy extended well beyond the world of sports. Kobe Bryant was not just a basketball legend, he was a cultural icon, a philanthropist, and a source of inspiration for countless individuals around the world. His loss felt deeply by fans, fellow athletes, and communities far and wide. As the investigation concluded and the findings were released, there was a hope that lessons would be learned and changes would be made to prevent such a devastating accident from happening again. The memory of Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna, and the 7 other lives lost that day would serve as a lasting reminder of the importance of safety, preparedness, and the need to prioritize human lives above all else. In the end, the tragic helicopter crash that claimed the lives of Kobe Bryant and 8 others was a reminder of the fragility of life and the need for constant vigilance when it comes to safety, especially in aviation. It was a day that shocked the world, but it also catalyzed changes and a renewed commitment to ensuring the safety of those who take to the skies. The aviation industry learned a lesson, but we lost a legend, Kobe Bryant.